Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Rugby with Pads. I am your host Sam, and the last episode got me thinking. If you didn't listen to it already, go back and listen to it. Start the mock drafts. I did 3 drafts, one for the middle, one for the end. One from the start, one for the middle, and one from the end. And I was thinking, I'm going to try these strategies out. I tried a 0 RB kind of thing, a hero RB, and a 0 wide receiver option as well. And it got me thinking. I was like, ignore everything else in the world. What would you do? What is the perfect recipe? So I'm gonna do 3 episodes based on a 12 PPR format. 12 person PPR format is kind of the most common. If you can't find 11 friends, find 10, and you can probably find 9, and you can probably do the same thing as well. It differs a little bit in 8 person. Not a huge amount, but enough to make a difference. So this is based on kind of like that 10-12 spot, but I'm going to be drafting without prejudice, without a preconceived notion, and I'm not going to be doing it live here. I've tested these out, and all of these work, and I have managed to make 95% of each one of these. Over 10 slots. Let's go. 90% of the time, I can make this team from this position, and this is bearing in mind this is the end of July, start of August, so things change, things happen, but let's build the team. And we're going to start off with the most coveted position, the number 1 slot. Now, the number 1 slot is interesting. How did you get there? You got there by being rubbish last year, or winning the lottery, one of the two. Most likely, you've got the number 1 slot because you came dead last, after the playoffs, after the Consolation Bowl in your league last year. If that's the case, you have a different mindset. You need to improve. You can't just be mediocre this year. You can't just come second to last. You need to improve. And you have the prime position and prime tools by which to do that. So, of course, who are you going to draft? You're going to draft the number 1 asset in all of fantasy football, the most consistent player out there in the wide receiver room, Ja'Marr Chase. Do I need to say anything more? It's obvious. You need to pick Ja'Marr Chase. Now, on your travels, various players will go. You'll probably see a fair few running backs go, a fair few wide receivers. Even more on the way back. Oh, I really wanted CMC. He's not available. Oh, more on that another day. You've seen the middling guys go as well, the kind of upper tiers. Oh, you're left with needing to protect your team. And you want someone who's got a high floor, good performer, and you've got wide receiver sorted. So you got to think what you're going to do here. Now, common logic, you're at the turn, you're at the 2-3 turn, so you've got back-to-back picks. Should you balance out and do what you need to do and go running back, wide receiver? Well, probably. Let's have a look at that. Let's think about the running back. I need to secure myself a really safe floor. I'm looking at Kyron Williams. I'm looking at Bucky Irving. I'm looking at the performance they had last year and thinking, beyond their size, stature, all of that, they deliver. They deliver when it matters. And they're clutch players who their teams rely on. That is who I want on my team. I'm going to go for either Bucky or Kyron. For the sake of this, I think I'm going to go Bucky Irving because he's just draft Twitter's darling, isn't he? So, you know what? To pander to the crowd and while I fix my mic, I'm going to go to Bucky Irving. And then I'm thinking, I need a wide receiver, but who's available to me? There's going to be some guys taking some interesting decisions moving forward. The guy who's drafting at the 5 spot, he's already got some really good guys, and he could go. He could go quarterback. You're thinking to yourself, what do I do? Do you know what's better than getting another wide receiver? It's making your current wide receiver even better. That's why I'm looking towards Joey Burrow. And if you saw me last week, yes, he's got ice in his face. Burrow. I'm sorry, that sounds like a donkey, not Burrow. I can't do it. I'm not cool enough to be able to do it. But ice in his veins, Joey Burrow. He makes Ja'Marr Chase better, and Ja'Marr Chase makes him better. That's who you want. So you put in there, quarterback, done. I'm going to wait. You see other guys go, and you see Jaden Daniels go. Glad I went quarterback. Yes, yeah, I might have reached a little bit, and you have reached a little bit. And talking about these ADPs, and what I've done on each of these is looked at whether they are a bit of a reach. So let's look at the back at the first three. Jamar Chase is the 101. There is no difference in ADP. Bucky or Kyron average out to be about the 23rd, 24th pick. You've got him there on ADP. Joe Burrow, 44 in ADP. But your next drafting at the 48, he is not coming back to you. And apologies, hopefully my mic setup's good enough that you can't hear the absolute filthy rain outside that is out my door. But I'm going to close my door just in case you can. 1 second. Well, how about that for live TV? Hopefully you can't hear it now. It was definitely, I was able to hear it. It was getting over my voice, so hopefully you haven't heard it and you understand what I was trying to say. Joey Burrow is at the 44, but you're next drafting at the 48. So he won't be there again. So you needed to get him then. That was the train of thought you should have gone through, other than seeing a shiny Bengal in lights. So a lot of guys go, and again, you're having to wait nearly 24 picks. Jaden Daniels, Evans, MHJ goes, some players that you really want in your team. You think, oh, what comes next? And you go back to your tried and tested. I'm at the turn. Running back, wide receiver. That's going to do a lot of help for you. And it really will do. Running back, I'm going to look at James Conner. I think he's going to be a fantastic player, and he's going to do me really, really well moving forward. He's volume, stability after you've had your reach. He's within ADP. You're probably reaching out 2 spots ahead, but at the turn, you don't mind about that. You can probably at the turn reach 5, 6, 7 slots ahead and not feel like a reach. And then I'm looking at DK Metcalf. He's the yin and yang. He's the solid. He is so big. He's going to demand so many targets, and he is a safe floor in that Steelers offense. I think he's going to be an absolute target hog because there's no one else been brought in. Yes, Jonnu might get some end zone looks, Freiermuth in the short, but DK's the number 1 target, and they're going to use him like that. And I think he will form a fantastic, weird, and wonderful, beautiful friendship with Aaron Rodgers, doing yoga and darkness retreats, and DK Metcalf eating sweets. I think that's what he's known for. Anyway, you see a load more players go. You're glad you went running back. You see a bunch go there. RJ Harvey, who you cut your eye on, who was not stable, but would be really interesting. But this is not about being interesting. This is about winning. You come back and you need another guy. You've got a flex position that's wide open there. I need to fill it. You know who I'm looking at? I'm looking at Chris Olave. Chris Olave is the perfect wide receiver 3. He's got potentially questionable quarterback play. But he is not himself questionable. Yes, if he takes another CTE hit, not CTE hit, sorry. If he ends up getting CTE from, and I hope he doesn't, but my goodness, so I don't mean to make light of that, but he has taken some hits. He is a de facto number 1 there, outside of Alvin Kamara. He's a fantastic player. And then you're thinking, I need to fill my squad. And I think I need to find another number 1. I need to find some upside here. With Isaiah likely out injured for potentially 6 weeks now, and the season is about 5-6 weeks away. Andrews is definitely going to be Lamar's number 1 target. Yes, he's had regression. The things are going to be working against him, age for that, but I think it's a perfect calculated reach. He's typically drafted around 81, but he's not coming back to you. Likewise, Olave, these guys are not coming back to you. Your margin for error is increased because you're at the end, and you need to take some punts now. Now that you've got your solid base, you need to take some punts. We carry on through. Debo Godwin goes. People like Diggs, and these guys are not interesting to you. You want someone who can be something. And that's why you're going to look at Matthew Golden. He's on ADP. It's about that range, between 92 and 96, depending on where you're playing. But Matthew Golden would be really, really interesting as a player. I think he will. Yes, there are loads of mouths to feed, but they have been feeding those mouths, and they've still gone out and got a number 1 wide receiver, 15th in the draft or something like that. I don't know where it was, maybe 21st or something like that. 23rd or something like that. Anyway, they obviously see him as being something good, so you wouldn't take him. And you're doing the tried and tested. You're going running back, wide receiver, and you've gone wide receiver. Now you're looking at running back. I'm looking at Travis Etienne. He is on ADP. It's a punt. It really is a punt, but I think it's a valuable punt, and I think he could be really interesting, especially as he's going to be your running back 3-4 down the stretch. If he becomes a PPR monster under Liam Cohen, he becomes a PPR monster. Look what he did to Bucky Irving. Do I think Tank Bigsby is just likely to do that? Yes, I do, but it's 50-50. I'm going with the draft capital and the history that he has with Travis. Travis? Trevor Lawrence. Sorry, he's Travis Etienne. He's Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, I'm gonna hope he's coming good. And then I'm gonna go around, and the last position is a position that I would take every single day, and I have done in so many drafts. I'm going to get Likely, because if it ain't Andrews, it's going to be Likely. Yes, it's a big reach, 22, but he's not coming back to you. He's not coming back to you, and you want to take him there. And that is your perfect round 1 to 10 from position 1 draft. You have been left with Joey Burrow. You picked him in the 3rd, a bit early, but it's fine. Bucky Irving, James Conner, solid running back core. Love that. Could have had Kyron as well, which I think I would have approved as well, but they go around the same mark. So either one for me would have been fine. And they both sit in my range in tiers as well. This has all been based, by the way, on my tiers. Everything has been done that, and it just so happens that things have fallen quite nicely. I've got Jamar Chase as the 101. I've got DK Metcalf. I've got Andrews as the number 1 target. Olave on the flex as the number 1 target. Golden as a potential number 1 target. ETN as the number 1 running back potentially for the Jacksonville Jaguars under a new offensive scheme, and Isaiah Likely, who is the next guy up should Mark Andrews fall to regression. What do you think? I'm going to be doing 2 more of these. I'm going to be doing one from the middle, from the 6 slot, and I'm going to be doing one from the end, from the 12 slot, and we're going to compare them, and not in strategy, but see which one we like best, because if you do get an option of where to go, this might inform your decision. Some people like taking a shot at the end because there's less time between your first 2 picks. It's not 24, there's 24 later on, but you might see more value in that 12-13 range. Some people like going in the middle, so they don't have to wait too long between each one, but you can't stack them up in the same way, and you might have to bend and shape your draft experience accordingly. But let me know what you think. This is the first time I've done this. I have managed to replicate this in real life. I think the only one I didn't get at the right place was actually DK Metcalf. I think I ended up getting someone as a filler for that one. But yeah, let me know what you think. I had a really fun time theorizing about this and giving it to you guys. And there will be 2 more of these episodes, one for the middle, one from the end. Perfect draft. And then we'll look at all of the drafts we've done and decide which one's our favorite. So thank you once again for listening. I really do appreciate it. If you want to support pod at Rugby with Pads on all the socials, rugbypads.com if you want to get a membership for as little as £1, and you get yourself some cheap merch while you're there. We do some things during the season. It's all going to be fun. And that is your lot, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all extremely soon, because you're probably drafting against me at some point. Well, one of you are. Anyway. Sorry. It's been a long day. I will see you all very soon on the Virtual Gridiron.